everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Classic Connection, the official podcast of the Southern Heritage Classic. I'm your host, Jay Henderson, and we are talking to the founder of the Southern Heritage Classic, Mr. Fred Jones. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Good. Now, the last time we did this was 2 years ago. And so I guess we probably need to do it a little bit more frequently.
I think so.
But thank you for joining us to talk about the 35th annual Southern Heritage Classic.
That sounds good.
Can you believe it's been 35 years?
Yeah, I got a lot of tread on my tires. So,
okay.
But, it's, I always say time goes fast when you're having fun. And, the classic is a lot of fun, family, friends, food, just a good time.
So after 35 years, you're still having a good time?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what you really do it for right now, for the good times and the smiles that you see on people's faces. I mean, it never amazed me when you talk about the classic. It lights up a room, and then when people start telling their classic stories, oh man, it's really a good time then.
Okay, well, let's remind everybody the classic this year is Thursday, September 12th through Saturday, September 14th. Tickets to all the events are on sale now. Let's start off by talking about what do people have to look forward to this year?
I think the thing that's the most consistent about the classic is that it is consistent. You know what you're going to get. You're going to have a great football game, halftime show, alumni friends, tailgate, parade, fashion show. That's a good all around good time, and that's all. Especially nowadays, having a good time is a blessing. So to have something that you can really rally around, like the Southern Heritage Classic, makes it even more special. But again, the fact that your family and friends and everybody can get together as one in one community, and that's a really good thing.
But we have something special this year that we haven't had in the past few years. Well, never that I know of. I know this is my 8th year, I think, with the classic. I don't think we've ever had this. So this year, there will be a special exhibit at the National Civil Rights Museum dedicated to the Southern Heritage Classic.
That's about as special as you can get.
I agree.
When you brought up the idea, the thought about it, and I tell people sometimes the ideas, regardless of how good they sound, they end up on the cutting room floor.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but this was one that the National Civil Rights Museum really stepped forward on it, put forth a lot of effort with it. But I think the fact that going to a location that's etched in history,
world renowned,
right, and to have a presence in there, a major presence at that is special. And when I mentioned it to a few people that was doing it, that it was going to be done, they were excited about it, So I think there's something that, again, what has happened with the classic over the years, and now this year we're taking it to a whole nother level, that we can acknowledge as much as you can. And during the time and 35 years of this event, the schools that have been involved in Tennessee State, Jackson State, Mississippi Valley State, Grambling State, and UAPB, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. So that's pretty special that we can do it and include everybody in it.
Yeah, but thanks for letting everybody know it was my idea. I truly appreciate that. And I am looking forward to seeing all the memorabilia throughout the years. How has it been going through 35 years? I'm just going to call it stuff, but it's more than stuff. To get the museum what they needed to make this a possibility. Because I'm sure it's some stuff that you forgot that you did or had.
Well, it's amazing how that works. You don't think about it. If you ask me just random what happens, when, whatever. But once you start to talking about it, and then you start viewing these pictures and so, yeah, I remember that. That happened in this year. That happens in a certain year, a certain time. There was a certain story that went behind it. It brought up a lot of memories, and the fact that people that have played a part in this from day one, I get a lot of credit. I've started the classic, all of that, but there are a lot of people that have played a part in making it what it is today.
True.
And the fact when you start looking back at the scene, all these pictures and started thinking about these stories, and it's, wow, man, and then when you start telling the stories, then that makes it even say, well, there's a story behind everything that you're going to see, and there are a lot of people that have played a part, and so hopefully we can capture that, and we're just waiting for that time to roll around, which tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, September the 11th. Mm-hmm. It'll be the opening day. And hopefully it'll be up through February of 25.
Nice. So people can still enjoy it during Black History Month, because it is a part of Black history.
Well, we're in the history of Memphis with this.
Yes.
I'm often asked, did you think it was going to be like this? Well, you think that it's going to, and I usually use my comparison is that I've never met a songwriter who didn't write a song that was going to be number one.
And I get that, but did it surpass your expectations?
Yeah, and the point is, when you started at point zero, and it gets to 1 year.
Yeah.
So now in 2024, we're talking about 35. Okay. Did I think we was going to get to 35? I was just trying to get to 1. Then I was trying to get to 2, and I was trying to get to 5 and 10 and 15 and on down the line. So again, the fact that we can talk about this, and again, to hear these stories and hear and see the excitement, well, that smile on people's faces when we can, as much heartache as we all go through in life and in this city right now, to have something when you say Southern Heritage Classic, man, the smiles come. That's a beautiful thing.
And ever since I've known you, you've said that consistently, that what brings you the most joy out of doing this is seeing the smiles on people's faces and them having a good time. I have never heard you mention money, not once.
Well, when I say this to people, I don't put money at the top of the list. Everything that you do with the Southern Heritage Classic, regardless of whatever, how small it is, it costs money.
True.
Okay, so you're not going to get away from, and I don't do free well, okay? And so let's figure out what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, how we're going to present it, and make it be a first-class presentation. And whatever comes out of that, because you got a lot of bills you have to pay. And the beautiful thing is that in 34 years, the schools collectively have earned $14.8 million. That's a lot from starting from point square one, zero. Okay, we started with just the idea, and we were been able to do it where we have made a lot of contributions, not only from the money side, but for the presence side. When you talk to people, in fact, I was talking to someone this morning, and they were on a trip, and they mentioned, the Southern Heritage Classic, and he was amazed how much knowledge that the people had about Southern Heritage Classic in Memphis. So it is widespread, and that's what we have achieved is widespread acceptance. That's a lot of pride right there. I mean, that people accept what you are presenting.
Yeah.
All the other things that we have to go through, as you know, Jay, it's a lot of work.
It most definitely is.
Oh man, it's
and the work starts as soon as the last one ends. You don't even take a break.
Well, I kind of, it's part of what I do now. I understand it. I don't get upset because we have to make changes. We have to, it comes with
I've noticed you mellowed out over the years.
Well, I mean, it's like I know I can deal with it.
I see that because you've had some challenging years, and I guess at this point
we got one this year. But
and we'll get into that a little bit later. Yeah, but I guess at this point you're like, whatever comes, I can handle it.
Well, again, I found that if you stay positive through it all, no moaning and groaning, no woe is me. It's there. You got to figure out a way to deal with it. Because when I see these people in the community, they just want the Southern Heritage Classic. They don't even want to hear about it, and they shouldn't, about all of these other things that are going on behind the scenes that we all have to work on. But again, that's what it's about. So you're not upset when it happens.
Yeah.
You're going to figure out how to deal with it. Because at the end of the day, people just want a first-class event they can be proud of. And that's what we want to do, present something that they can be proud of.
Now, let's get in, since you brought it up, let's talk about this year's challenge. The stadium is going under some major construction, and there are some concerns from people about how it's going to affect the Classic. Can you shed some light on that?
Well, it's a lot of changes, okay? And I go through the obvious changes. You go from 58,000 seats available to you down to under 30.
Okay.
We'll say 30, give or take.
So get your tickets early.
Well, here again. There's some logistical things that we have already worked through, and I've assured everybody, both from TSU and UAPB, that the worst case scenario we have taken that into consideration.
Okay.
So it's not like it's going to get worse, But again, people that are coming to the Classic used to having certain seats, those kind of things. So we had to make those adjustments. And I think the fact that this is a major happening that's going to affect year 2024 and 2025. So, and there, again, it's going to affect, it's not going to adversely affect us in terms of something coming up later that we have to deal with. We already know what seats are going to have to be going to be affected.
Yeah.
Some of the logistical things, and just the fact that on site, you have to, when you walk in, you're going to see all of this. Oh, God. But again, we've done our best based on the schedules that they've given us. that we have worked around this, and we're going to be fine. And the one thing that softens everybody up, it doesn't affect tailgate.
Well, that's a good thing because, we love a good tailgate here in Memphis.
Well,
and there is no tailgate like a Southern Heritage Classic tailgate. It is a big party.
Well, it's family, friends, and food.
And football.
And the highest level. And I tell people this all the time. When you come to the Classic tailgate, it's not like like they envisioned tailgates in the beginning. You back up your car, and you open up your trunk, and you do a little. Oh no, man! I mean,
I've seen everything. We've seen dance floors. We've seen margarita trucks. I mean, last year, some man had the most gorgeous RV I had ever seen. It was massive. It was beautiful. It looked like he had a living room set up in front of it. And it's just amazing. It is. And, I always do that thing that little feature online called What's on Your Grill? And we've seen whole pigs. Every part of the pig that you could probably imagine, all kinds of slabs of meat. So, I mean, it's probably not a good place to be a vegetarian.
Well, it's like people and we've all done it. When we're going on a diet, we always go, if it's Thursday or Friday, we're going on the diet Monday. Because this weekend, we got the Southern Heritage Classic tailgate. Yep. And we got all the other things going on. But again, that's the beauty of it. And it's something that with all the adversity that over the many years that we've faced, the Classic has been able to sustain it.
Yeah.
So it shows for me what the idea was to create something that had the capability of going from year to year. Okay. Jackson State and Tennessee State got a long history.
They do.
Prior to them starting the Classic in 1990. But it needed something to keep that HBU feeling together. And we've been able to create something with the changes, I call it turbulence. I heard a pilot say this, you've never heard where turbulence knocked the plane out the air. It makes for a bumpy ride. Mm. And so sometimes we all get on flights and we be sitting there and we're going to wherever your destination, it's going to be a little rough. We can't go around it. In order to get where we got to get through, we got to go through this turbulence. And it's going to be a little bumpy. Make sure your seatbelts are, but you get there.
You do.
And that's what the Classic is about. We get there in spite of everything that we've been having to deal with. And we have survived intact. We haven't had to make real dramatic changes in the Classic structure. 2 historically black schools playing with their alumni base, with their bands, with the tradition, with what HBCU football and all that is about. We have kept that integrity all these years.
Okay, let's talk about some of this turbulence you mentioned, and I'm just from my experience going down memory lane, I would say your first big challenge was when you had the doubleheader, where somebody had made a mistake and booked the University of Memphis and the Southern Heritage Classic on the same day, and then after that you had to deal with 9/11, where you had to postpone the game until Thanksgiving. After that, you dealt with the year that lightning we had to cancel the game because of lightning, and it was not rescheduled that year. And after that, 2020, 9/11, no, that's not 9/11, 2020, when the world shut down because of COVID and you had to cancel the game. And then we had to deal with the year that Jackson State decided that they wanted to do other things.
Okay.
And that is the year that people still have so many questions about. Can we talk about that a little bit?
No, not really.
Okay.
You know, the reason why is that, as what I said earlier, the Southern Heritage Classic has survived this flight from 1990 to 2024.
We have.
And it's been a lot of turbulence. It's well documented.
It is.
And it's all, as they say, in the record books. I mean, people know the story. But for me, the one thing that's, of all the things that we've happened, it was the doubleheader. Because the effect that it had on this community, and the effect that it had on my mother.
Yeah, I remember you saying she was highly upset.
Well, I mean, it was more than that. I mean, to have been there and seen that fear and that this disgust that she was so let down.
Do you think your mother possibly thought it was the beginning of the end? I remember you saying they won't let us have nothing.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
No, because I told my mother then, like I've told, since I'm the pilot of this Southern Heritage Classic, the plane is gonna take off, but it's gonna be rough. We're gonna get there, and you trust the pilot. Okay, I don't care where you're going, how bad, you trust the pilot.
You know, one of the things you said to me once when we were going through a challenge, you said, put your money on Fred. and I've learned that is the truth, that you are going to handle it.
Well, that's always been, getting back, for many years, but getting back to my mother, I told her, and she was so, that on her face, I mean, I could see it now, and she was just so angry. And I was there, and I grabbed her, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna work this out. So I'll work it out. And there were other tensions in the community because people felt that I should have taken other steps. But the name of the game, and I promised my mother then, and I promised people in the community, that I would work it out, and I have. And for my mother, it was like, we're going to do this doubleheader this year, but we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
In order to move forward. And sometimes when I'm telling young people, they so bent on when they have a confrontation, they nose to nose, and nobody wants to step back. Okay, let's do this doubleheader, but we're going to fix this. We're not doing it anymore. That's what I promised her at the end. And I think people have enough confidence in me that I'm going to make the right decision. I ask God every day, to give me the blessing to make the right decision that's going to benefit not only what I'm trying to do, but this is for the benefit of this community. Okay, so you got to keep that and always keep that in mind. And that's kind of how, as the kids said, that's kind of how I roll. I mean, I don't get up or down, because at the end of the day, what this community wants and deserves is a successful event where they can enjoy themselves, and they brag about this everywhere they go. Well, we got the Southern Heritage Classic. You take this away.
And it's not just about what goes on at that moment during the game. It's the trickle down effect that, so many business owners, small business owners, benefit from having the Classic here. The city of Memphis benefits from having the Classic here. It's an amazing thing to watch,
Well, when
The impact.
Yeah, when you're a part of it, you've seen right in the middle of it. It's like the hurricane or the hurricanes. The eye of the hurricane is the quietest part. They fly the planes inside the hurricane in order to record them. They don't record on the outside. When you get on the middle, and you right in the middle, as other people that work with the classic for many years, you're right in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. Everything revolving around you, and you have to make decisions that not only affect you personally, but you got to make decisions knowing that the big picture is this is a lot of people going to be affected by this. And I always tell them this is a story. A guy had a service station, and for whatever reason, I stopped at the service station one day, and I decided when I was to stop there, I said, I'll wash my car. And he said, how much does it cost? He said, you don't owe me anything. But one thing people that know me, I don't lean on people, take advantage of it. I just don't do that. He said, no, you don't have to do that. He said, no, I have to do this. And I have learned over time that you have to let people express themselves. When they want to have a moment to say, well, I did this for Fred Jones, you have to let them do that. You can't take that joy away from them. So anyway, he said, I make more money at the Southern Heritage Classic than I make at any other time of the year.
Nice.
He said, man, they come wash my cars. They had to stand out in the streets. Y'all can't wash no more cars. Y'all go. He said, I just wanted to, this is my way to thank you. So you realize from, the hotels and the car rentals and the gas and the food, and I got a food story I'll tell right quick. But anyway, this was a big deal for him. So another lady was telling me a story about tailgates that she went to a Walgreens, and she went there and to get some slaw for her tailgate. And she said they had sold out. All the people.
I would never think to go to Walgreens for slaw.
No, I'm sorry. I said that wrong.
You mean Walmart?
Walmart.
Okay.
They went to Walmart, but just to think that you can go to Walmart and they have sold out of slaw because of this event that they're having in town.
Yeah. Called
the Southern Heritage Classic. Now, this is Walmart. This is not the corner store. And, this is a big deal. They got how did you run out of slaw at a Walmart store? But those are the kind of stories that you hear over the years. And, you realize, how big an impact that all of this is really having on people.
Yeah, one of the themes you and I have been kicking around is this is our classic. And it is. This classic belongs to Memphis, even though it involves two schools that aren't here. The majority of the people that come to the classic live right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Well, or they have ties to Memphis.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Whether you lived here or not. And I was watching something about the migration. It was the first episode that I just saw today of the Stax documentary. And Al Bell was talking about the migration. People came out of the Delta, came into Memphis, went into Chicago.
Yeah.
People out of Alabama went into Detroit. People west of the Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana went to California. So, but you always, things trace back to your roots. Memphis is the hub or the root of the Mid-South. Has been when they was taking 61 and 51 coming into Memphis. Memphis is the hub, and it still is. So if you go to Chicago, you come back to Memphis, for your reunion or your family outing, that's what, and now you're tying it into the Southern Heritage Classic. And believe it or not, when the name Southern Heritage Classic just fits what the event ultimately has gotten to be. It's a Southern heritage, and we're able to, and we are proud of that. I mean, people, whether you live in Chicago or New York or wherever you live in the world, you know, being from Memphis or being from this area is something that you're always proud of. So taking the event that's in Memphis and to showcase Memphis and what's good about Memphis. Memphis can be defined with the Southern Heritage Classic. Here lately, Memphis has been defined by the crime and the other things in the community.
Unfortunately.
We all are depressed about that, but we're not depressed about our Southern Heritage Classic.
Nope.
I mean, it's a big deal.
Not at all.
You know, and so that's why you have to put forth the effort to make sure. It's like, for instance, when we live, and it's like that with all of us in the Black community, or at least it was. When visitors came to the house, you straighten up, dust it, whatever it is, mama, grandmama, we're gonna make sure that it's clean. Well, when we come to Memphis and when we say Southern Heritage Classic, Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, Memphis, you want that to be the best that it possibly can be. You know, nothing else, no more, no less. And that's what people are looking for. It's a chance for them to walk around with their chests out. And unfortunately, a lot of things that we have had over the years have come and gone, and we're trying to do everything we can to keep the Southern Heritage Classic going.
Now, to people who have expressed some reservation because of the crime, because when I first came into the Classic, I was not aware of the great lengths, and this is way before what's going on now, that the city and the Classic goes to make sure that this is a safe event. I mean, there are meetings with every emergency and law enforcement agency in the city to talk about how we're going to logistics. Let's say talk about the logistics of the Classic and the safety.
Well, yes, there's two parts to that.
Okay.
Post 9/11, if you have a big event in the community, FBI, Homeland Security, Sheriff Department, Police Department, different departments within the Police and Sheriff Department are going to be present. Sharpshooters, all that.
And people don't even see them.
Undercover, all of that's there. I mean, you have no choice. That's going to happen. But here's another thing. I'll take last year, 2023, in particular. Crime is raging throughout the community. The weekend of the Classic, the crime was statistically way down. Why? Because there's mama, grandmama, granddaddy, brothers and sisters. Everybody is playing a part in this event. Okay? And it kind of reminds me of a rap show. We've been doing rap shows way back when it first started. Well, there's always been some kind of confrontations going on at the show, young kids show. Mm-hmm. But if mama comes to the game, comes to the show, she can bring 15 kids. They be running all up and down the stairs, doing all kind of everything, but they're not gonna create no problem. One mama, 15 kids. I guess it would be no problem. Now, if she drops them off to come back to get them,
might be an issue.
It might be an issue. But when you get to Classic, you got everybody that's in the unit present.
Yeah, we've had people that were like almost 100 at the Classic before.
But see, they recognize that. So there's hope for people. But you just think about it. The crime is way up, and at the Classic, it's way down.
And maybe the people committing the crime decide to take the day off and come have a good time themselves.
Well, you know what? There'd be a lot of speculation. But here again, I got a whole lot of stories, and I'll tell this story then because it happened. When we were getting the tailgate started, when the fairgrounds was the Mid-South Fairgrounds, mm-hmm. and the office was out at the fairgrounds before they tore all the buildings down to make Tiger Lane. So these young kids, that Saturday morning, they were just cutting up sideways. All kind of bad language and this and total respect. I seen one grandma stood there and looked at them. She didn't say one word. Not one. And the longer she stood there, the quieter they got.
Do you think that still goes on today?
We lost touch with that. But they have the respect for the elder, in this case, a grandmother. She just stood there. Mm. And I saw these same kids later, still there at the game later. Man, you can't do that, man. This is a Classic, man. We got to be more respectful than that. She never said one word. And the guy who was at the time, I can't think of his name, who was the president of the Mid-South Fair, said, "Fred, did you see what I just saw?" So during the Classic, you have a level of respect that people have for themselves and they have for the event because it means something to them. And again, it can get out of order any time. Things don't take much to trigger people, but people seem to have gone out their way over the years to keep that to a minimum.
All right. For people who haven't been paying attention and don't know what's going on during the Classic, let's do a quick rundown. On Thursday, we have the Classic concert with Miss Patti LaBelle, and Jammin' J. Lamont. On Friday, we have the Classic, that's September 13th, Friday, Classic College and Career Fair, where, buses of kids come in and get to see the various colleges, get to learn about their information as well as careers that might interest them. There's the Classic Coaches Luncheon, and then the Tamia and Joe concert at the Landers Center. On Saturday, September 14th, we have the tailgate. That is always a fan favorite. If you like to play golf, there's a Penny Hardaway Memphis District Golf Classic. There's the Classic Parade at Orange Mound. That kicks off at 9 a.m. And that is also a favorite. Hundreds of people lined up and down the street. Thousands. Okay, I stand corrected. Thousands. You are right. Lined up and down the street to see. It is the most diverse parade I have ever seen. Because I've seen people with their babies that are in a majorette group pulling another baby in a cart behind them while they watch their child perform. But then you also see floats. You also see bands. You also see people who are running for office, and you see the Corvettes. You see the Stink was it Stingrays? Is that what they're called?
Right.
Yeah, and
Corvettes.
and you see all of this. It is diverse. Like I said, you never know what you're gonna see during the classic parade.
Well, again, for me, the classic parade is more personal than probably any of the other events. Although I played golf, but I never played golf in the classic.
You're a little tied up at that time. We understand.
But just to watch the parade and remember when I participated as a member of Booker T. Washington High School band marching in the parade down Beale Street in the Cotton Maker Jubilee. That was a special moment. And you never forget it. I mean, when you got to Haddon Park and you had to march single file because there was just so many people, and it was just the place to be, and that's what this has become. And when I'm watching them from the looking at Park Avenue, and you see all these thousands of people in the street and along the sidewalk, and knowing that they had been there since 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and they barbecuing themselves, get ready for the parade. That's a special moment that you treasure, and again, that's the impact that this parade has started. And I'm going to tell you, it started kind of awkward because they always have had the Christmas parade in Orange Mound, and they wanted to have it part of the classic. In the year of 9/11, the parade was on a Thursday. That was the year that we had to 9/11 was on a Tuesday, and we had to end up canceling the game or postponing the game to Thanksgiving on that Thursday. Mm-hmm. But the parade was going on. That after the parade went on anyway. I mean, the fashion show, the golf tournament, all of the things went on. But that parade was going on, and I was supposed to have been in the parade, but I'm busy restructuring all of this stuff on the fly. And in fact, I did a news conference at the office at 10 o'clock at night, because we had to make the decision. So again, the way we started with that, and the Orange Mound Parade Committee, it is special. But you have people with the progesterone and with the parade. We want to dwell on everything on this, but they're coming from different areas of the country to be a part of the parade in Orange Mound in Memphis, Tennessee. You can't put money on that. You can't say, well, it has more value than when you talk about money.
It does, most definitely.
Because and it touches you, and for me, and I stand there and I watch it and I look at it, and for me personally, I said, "Wow, man, look at this." It's like, oh, you just almost have a emotional moment, because I remember when I was a kid. Now you got all these little kids and they run around and trying to get candy and trying to do. They got grandma, grandpa, mother, friends, relatives, cousins. Everybody is playing a part in this.
So true.
What else can you do where you have that kind of involvement? We're specifically talking about the parade, but you can say that on the entirety of the Southern Heritage Class.
It's truly a family affair. Let's see. Let's pick up where we left off with these events. After the parade on September 14th, Saturday, you had the classic Battle of the Bands at Whitehaven High School, where our young people get in on the action, and some of the best bands around are competing to be able to perform in the classic that evening. You've got the Classic Fashions and Brunch with the wonderful National Coalition of 100 Black Women. They've been around for a very long time doing this event. And then we get to the game at 6 p.m., where the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff takes on Tennessee State University. And don't forget, within the game itself, we have that AutoZone halftime show. And after the game, we've got the classic fifth quarter where the bands battle it out one last time before we all have to go home.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and again, there'll be some adjustments. And again, the Southern Heritage Classic is presented by FedEx, and the fifth quarter is presented by FedEx Employee Credit Association. This year will take some adjustment to get used to that, because both bands are going to be on the same side of the field.
What?
That's called construction at the stadium.
That will be different. That will definitely be different. Right. Now, Fred, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
How old am I?
Yes.
76.
How many more years you think you got in you?
Well, you know what? I'm going to give you the answer. Gave me the answer to this question was given to me by my father. He said, you will know when it's time to go.
Okay.
And you know, when nobody had to tell you, you're just going to walk away. And that's the way this is for me, how I'm looking at this. When it comes to a time that I can't put the energy, and you know how much energy it takes and effort it takes this.
Quite a bit.
I get so that I don't listen to what's going on around me, then I'm just going to walk away. And it won't be a lot of fanfare. It takes a lot of effort to do this.
I'm going to predict you'll be, 102. Yeah, about 102.
Well, you know what?
When you retire from the Classic. Well, it's good to know that time isn't any day soon. But I want to talk about the future of the Classic, or somewhat still the present. Now, there is a question that I got asked so many times when the team with the Classic changed. So maybe you could answer it here so that everyone will hear it. Why UAPB?
Well, it was a lot of, it wasn't.
Now, I'm pleased with it. Don't get me wrong. I think they've done a fantastic job. But the question on everybody's mind was, why were they selected to be the new kids in the Classic?
A lot of things that were in their favor. As we have discovered, there are a lot of people that got a lot of association with this school and this community. That's the first thing. It's less than 200 miles away from Memphis, and it's a pretty easy drive. Drive to Little Rock, take one little turn, and take another little turn, and you go straight down.
So having a school that was continuing to have a school that was in close proximity was very important for you.
Absolutely, because they already have association with the Classic. It wasn't new to them. I found out that a lot of the people from UAPB, when they didn't have a home game the week of the Classic, they came to the Classic in Memphis. Mm. So the only difference is that, instead of being the bridesmaids, they're not they're not a bride. Not a bride. You got to see that smile on your face. It's when you do the research and your gut feeling and all the things pointing in the right direction. It was the choice to make, and the availability was good, but the proximity, the association of the people in the community already, I found it was amazing. A lot of the band directors
Came from Memphis.
that are in Memphis and the surrounding Mississippi and the surrounding area came from UAPB. Oh, it was amazing. So you started, all of this stuff started adding up at the end of the day. And, there were a list of people. Everybody was calling and with their suggestion. But again, we made the best decision, and they really are working hard to take advantage of the fact that they are out front, because everybody know that they are playing in the Southern Heritage Classic in Memphis.
Oh, they have definitely used this opportunity to their advantage.
Right. So, and I think that what we needed to, people need to accept this. It was very important that we had no further disruption with this Southern Heritage Classic, whether or not it was going to happen. So all of that got settled. UAPB, was not, it surprised everybody. When you talk to people, they were like, man, they got a good band. Man, they look good. Man, yeah. That's part of that HBCU culture that's been around a while. And I got stories about Arkansas Pine Bluff, Arkansas A&M when I was a boy and went over there to play in a basketball game over there. So,
and that's what it was called before UAPB.
It was Arkansas A&M.
Okay.
And then they went to University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff.
So it's fair to say you're very pleased with the way things turned out.
I am pleased. I'm not. That's the least of my worries. My worries is to try to take all these other things that have to take in consideration and manage all of those, so that at the end of the day, we have a successful 35-year anniversary of the Southern Heritage Classic, September 12, 13, and 14, 2024, September 11th too. And there might be some other things that we're going to come with later on that's going to complement this as well. And we're very pleased with HBCU Gold getting us a national broadcast. All of that is
yes, sir,
playing a big part in this Southern Heritage Classic. This is, and I give you the street language. This Southern Heritage Classic ain't no joke.
Never has been.
It's the first class event, and as far as long as my involvement in it, then we're gonna put forth the effort to always have a first class event.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you for your time, Mr. Jones. You have been listening to the Classic Connection, the official podcast of the Southern Heritage Classic. I'm your host, Jay Henderson, the PR director for the Classic, and we have been sitting here chopping it up with the founder, Mr. Fred Jones himself. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And I want to encourage everyone. We've been talking about the 35th Southern Heritage Classic right here in Memphis, Tennessee, Thursday, September 12th through Saturday, September 14th. I want to encourage you to participate. Buy a ticket to something. We'd love to see you at the game. Buy a tailgate spot. I don't care if you just got a little grill from Walmart or you got the big boy grill with several different levels in it, or you made it out of a barrel yourself. I'd like to see you there. Come enjoy some fun, food, family, and football with us. And Mr. Jones, before we get out of here, do you have any last words?
Just remember, the Southern Heritage Classic is our classic.
Amen. It is our classic. And I look forward to seeing you there at a concert, at the game, at the tailgate, at the parade, at the college and career fair, just wherever. Get in where you fit in.
And remember, you can always go to southernheritageclassic.com and get all the latest information.
And tickets can be purchased where?
At Ticketmaster.com. But again, this is our classic. This is our time, and this is show people how we feel about it, and keep moving forward. And again, for all these many years, all these thousands of people that have participated in the classic over these years, Fred Jones Jr. So make sure I can say that for my father. Thank you. I love it. I wouldn't want to do anything else right now, and I just want everybody to I just simply want to say thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones, for all the hard work that you've done over the years, bringing this phenomenal event to the city of Memphis. All the accolades that you get, they're well deserved.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll go ahead and say goodbye. I'll see you at the Classic. Oh, by the way, my name is Jay Henderson. Have a great day.